Here we're being asked to find the derivative of this given equation right here. Tangent inverse of x plus 4 square root of x. That ddx up in front, that's just math talk that's saying take the derivative of all of this stuff. When I go to do a problem, I kind of like to just set it up as a f prime of x. It just makes more sense to me. And then when I write things inside cosines, trig functions, I always put those in parentheses. It really helps me see a lot of times where I might have a chain rule going on if I need to identify that. And then I've got the 4 square root of x. Before I even get going to take this derivative, the first thing that you want to do whenever you see a root in a problem is you need to do a rewrite on that. Before you go rushing in to take a derivative, always look to do your rewrites before you take the derivative. So here, my rewrite on this is our root rewrite. So anytime you've got x to some power inside a root, you're going to rewrite that as x to the power divided by the root. So if I had something like the cube root of x to the 5th, I would rewrite that as x to the power of 5 over the root of 3. So on this square root here, I've got conveniently an unwritten 1 for the power and an unwritten 2 for the root. So I first and foremost, before I take a derivative at all, I just do the rewrite. A lot of people start taking the derivative and then they end up in a rewrite, and then they're getting confused because it's sort of like half a rewrite and half a derivative. So always take care of your rewrites first. So first move here was just to rewrite that square root. And now we're ready to go ahead and look at the derivative. When you look at a derivative, the first thing you do is you break it down into smaller bite-sized problems by the pluses and the minuses. So we've got this inverse tangent is one piece, and then plus, and then this 4x to the 1/2 is the second piece. The inverse tangent here, this is what I refer to as a special case a special case derivative. And that just means it's one you have to have memorized. If you don't have it memorized, you're never going to guess it in the middle of a test. And so you've got to get a whole bunch of special cases memorized before you go take this test, and inverse tangent is one of them. So if my function is inverse tangent of x, then the derivative of inverse tangent of x is 1 over 1 plus x squared. If you know it, then this is a super easy derivative. If you don't know it, like I said, you're probably not going to guess it. So we come through, and the first thing we'll do is take that special case derivative. So that's going to be 1 over 1 plus x squared. Then the second part of this is just going to be our power rule. So my power rule says, it's just a two-step process. Step 1 of the process, I'm going to bring the power down. And then step 2 of the process is subtract 1 from the power. So in this situation, I bring that 1/2 down in front. 1/2 times 4 is going to get me 2x. And then when I subtract 1 from the power, 1/2 minus 1 gets me negative 1/2. So you pause there always and kind of look around because you never know what they're going to have up in their answers on a multiple choice section. But I can see when I look up there that they don't have my specific answer. And so now I got to start running through usually some algebra moves. A lot of times it's going to be some laws of exponents that you want to look out for. So here, that's what we're looking at. Nothing to do on the front. We can leave that how it is. But here we need to take care of that negative exponent. So as you do this, remember that you also had a rewrite that you should have been looking out for. Whenever you've got a number over x to a power, you wanted to bring that power up from the bottom to the top and make it negative. So if you had something like 5 over x to the 3rd, you wanted to rewrite that as 5x to the negative 3. Well, very often on these tests, when they want you to finish up your answer, they want you to kind of undo that rewrite. Make that a positive exponent again. So put that x back down to the bottom. And that's what we're going to need to do here. We've got the 2 is going to stay up on top, kind of like the 5 stays up on top on this. But then we're going to move that x to the 1/2 back down to the bottom. So we're going to do a rewrite there. And again, pause, take a look. Sometimes that might be your answer. You never know. However, it's not in this situation. And so what we're doing here is now what they want us to do is now we're undoing this 1/2 power rewrite. So we're basically undoing, we're in the power over root move, and they want us to go back to having it as a root. Well, x to the 1/2, that was our square root. So then we're just going to rewrite that 1 over 1 plus x squared, and now this is going to be 2 over the square root of x. So we do a rewrite there to turn that back into a root. And now when I go up and look, I can see that my answer matches with option C. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, please click that like button and subscribe. And also share it with your friends and anyone else you know who might be crying about an upcoming AP Calc test. You can find more videos from me, more sample AP Calc questions, and my complete AP Calc study guide over at my website, apcalcprep.com. Have a great one.